Hi there, Dr. Dave again, and this time I'm coming to you to talk about chapter number 3, which is all about sensation and perception. Sensation involves picking up information with your senses, and perception involves understanding that information. And while in much of the chapter we focus on perception, how we understand things, I want to touch on a couple of things dealing with sensation here. In particular, I want to talk about the difference between absolute and difference thresholds. An absolute threshold is the minimal amount of stimuli that you need to be able to detect it at least half the time. In other words, what's the smallest amount of something you would need in order to be able to know that it's actually there? It's going to be different from person to person, of course, but here are some of the basics that we know. The experts tell us that most of us would be able to see the equivalent of a candle flame burning at the distance of 30 miles off in the distance. Yeah, 30 miles on a clear, pitch black, dark night, most of us would be able to just barely see a candlelight burning. And they've also established what the absolute thresholds are for the average person's vision and smell and touch and so on. Difference threshold is the smallest amount of change you would need in order to tell that there's a difference. So if I had 2 bowls of popcorn, how much saltier would one have to be before you could notice a difference between them? Or how much louder would I need to turn up the volume on the television before you just barely noticed that it had gotten a bit louder? Those are difference thresholds. So the absolute threshold, again, littlest amount of something that you need in order to tell that it's actually there. And the difference threshold is the smallest amount of change necessary before you notice the difference. Hope that helps.